Hey guys, it's Martin here from Shink Art and welcome to another video where I'm giving out some art tips. And today I'm going to be talking about how to create with meaning. And by this I mean the way that you approach your artwork and at the end of the day look back at what you've created over a period of time, maybe a week or a month or even a year, and you can look back at what you've created and say that I've created something meaningful, something timeless, and something that is shareable or something that anyone can enjoy. I'm missing my words here, but if you can look back in time and say that I've created something of value, something with meaning, and something that can stand the test of time. And I'm going to be drawing Charlotte Flair, some fan art today, and let's go over to the artboard and let's look at the process while I'm gonna be telling you how to create with meaning in just 5 simple steps or 5 simple ways that you can do that. I just quickly want to say before we head on over to the artboard, follow me on Instagram at ShinkArt, support my work on Patreon. I would love that if you can join me over there, and if you haven't already, just subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this and get your art journey going with some meaning. Let's go over to the drawing board. Okay, so there we have it. I'm gonna start up here in Photoshop. I usually start with some sketching to get my art flowing, but we're going to be talking about how to create with meaning, and that's the topic of today. I will be posting in future some art tutorials, so please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've had some requests for that. I'm just working on it, but let's get going. Okay, so I wanted to create this video because it's something that I actually struggled with for a long time, and I find myself tripping over this constantly as well, and that is that I get discouraged by short-term reactions on social media or what people say if I send it to them or whatever the case may be, and I'm not focusing on achieving my goals and to check off that checklist to head into a direction of a project or a drawing series or something with meaning. So don't get discouraged by short-term reactions. Social media does this to you, but focus on achieving your goals and check off the things on your project of meaning or something with meaning. So this is something that I struggle with a lot, especially as all of you know that I create fan art for wrestling, and then it's easy if something on screen pops the audience or goes viral or is like a big influence, something big happening and everyone, it's trending on social media, and you just want to jump in and create something because you might just get some awesome likes or feedback from it or follows or whatever the case, or your artwork might go viral. Now that isn't a bad thing, it's a great strategy, but it will destroy the meaning of your art if you don't govern it well. And besides, are you just an artist to get social media reactions or to get like vanity, what do they call it on Instagram, vanity statistics, or leave that in the comments, I can't remember, but just for the sake of getting likes, because that will break you as well. Because if one week you post something and it goes viral, and the next week you post something and you think it's gonna go big and it doesn't, it's gonna break your spirit. So don't attach your value as an artist, or the value of your art, to the reaction of people. Of course, you want reaction, but that shouldn't be the guiding force that lets you create, or the main motivation behind your creativity. For example, on my Instagram account, I don't have like a huge account, but I get average 80 likes. Some posts even get like 20, 30, 40. Some of them get 100. And then, like, I posted a while back an artwork of it was fan art that it got over 2,000 likes. And if I attached my value to that, I would have been broken if the next week I posted something that only got 100 likes. And recently I posted CM Punk comparison artwork to my profile, where I compared my 2018 artwork to my 2020 artwork, and it also got it like 500 likes or something. But if you look at the likes and it becomes your motivation, it's gonna break your spirit as an artist. So let's get into those things, and I just want to encourage you, if you follow these 5 things to create something of meaning, like for example a book or a drawing series, or just the overall flavor or the theme of your art or your social media channels, people will eventually, big exclamation on that, people will eventually come along. They might not give you the likes or the reaction that you want from the beginning or from the start, but if they can see a series of work, they're bound to buy in and see what you're all about, and then they can actually say, hey, I kind of like this. So without further ado, let's get into it, and look at the 5 things that will help you change your focus. And hopefully I can do this, because I want you to create with meaning and be the best artist you can be. Now, number 1, don't just create for the moment. Put some thought into what you want to do and what you want to achieve as an artist. Okay, so this touches on my intro, that if you have this tendency to just create for that viral moment, or something that's on everyone's lips at the moment, or trending online, or it was a new episode of your favorite series that something big happened and you wanted to create something about that, don't do that. Just that. Don't focus on that alone. Put some thought into the things. Now, if that is you and that's what you do, then people will know you for that. So if, for example, you are the guy that just draws all the viral things as they happen, and people understand you, your crowd understands you for that, I've got no problem with that. I'm not saying it's wrong. But before you go onto social media, or before you just check your television or your streaming service or whatever the case for what's trending and what you can draw, sit down and take maybe 30 minutes, or maybe it will turn into an hour or 2, and just ask yourself a few questions of what is it that I want to create as an artist, and answer those questions for yourself. What do you like? So for example, if you've always been passionate about doing comics, then say, okay, I want to be an artist that creates comics, and then plan it out and decide that's what I'm going to do and stick to it. Now what the nice thing is going to be, if you're doing something like that and now you have this fandom or this trending topic that you want to look into, then you can easily, like as an extra, draw. Let's say something happens on your favorite TV show. I'm just going to use wrestling as an example. Someone wins the championship, or a big moment happens, and you want to draw something of that. Draw that into your style, and that will probably get some reaction, because your fans will see that and say, oh, this is so cool, he's doing something that I like. and maybe other people will come into for that trending moment that you've just captured in your art, and they will see your style and the way you do things, and then they will maybe splash off to your other work that's on your account. Okay, so answer those questions for yourself. And also very important, in my previous video where I spoke about comparison, decide what it is you want to achieve. In that video I used a metaphor of like your art journey. You're in a boat and you're heading somewhere, and you have all these influences that's gonna take over your attention. Now, if I can use that metaphor again, if you're in your little art boat, know where you're going, and this process will help you to go there and know what you're all about, and this will hopefully help you to stay on course and not just jump around to everything that's happening on this busy world of the internet. Okay, let's go over to point number 2. Now, the next thing you would like to do is know who you are as an artist and get clarity on what people will find when they find your work online. Okay, now this sounds a bit like deep, and maybe it is deeper, and maybe you don't know the answer of this yet, and that's also fine. Then explore away. But for example, if you ask yourself who you are as an artist, and I can answer that question maybe like this: I am the guy that is still figuring out how to create the things that I want to create, and I'm exploring everything, and I want you to come along. That sounds like an enticing invitation. Even though you don't have all the answers yet, you can still tell people that discover you online that I am still figuring this out and I want you to join me on this journey. You don't have to like be the best or have everything in place. Just be you. Just know who you are as an artist. And then I like to look at the 3 W's. There's actually more W's and a Y somewhere, but the 3 W's that I'm referring to here is who, what, and work. Now, number 1 is related to who you are as an artist. That's the who, like who. Anyways, and have clarity on that. Say, I'm working on my very first graphic novel, and that's what you're going to be posting. If you go to the what, so if your answer is I'm working on my first graphic novel, or I'm a comic artist working on my first graphic novel, then your answer when it comes to what will be this is what people will find when they discover you. Then you will post work related to that goal or that thing that you are. And then work is obviously answered in the previous one. What are you working on and what are you sharing with people? It makes no sense if you share that you are fishing and on your profile, and then you're saying that you're someone that wants to make your first graphic novel, because then those things, they don't relate and people will be confused when they reach you. So just to round up, point number 2 is know who you are as an artist. Find it out. If you don't know, if you're unsure, if you think I'm just I love drawing, I draw cool stuff, take the time just to define it for yourself in a simple sentence, and that will change the way that you look at yourself and the way that you look at your art. And then remember those 3 W's: who, what, and work. If you do those, your whole social media presence or your whole portfolio as an artist will instantly improve and get some direction, and in the long haul it will get some meaning, and that's what we're trying to achieve. Okay, let's go over to number 3, and number 3 is this: commit to doing a series of artworks. Now, this is something that I try to do a lot. I've done in the past. I've listened a few years ago to some videos of Jake Parker where he actually said do 100 somethings, draw 100 somethings, and I think he did robots or something like that. I can't even remember. But commit to doing a series of artworks, like maybe it's just I want to do 5 drawings of Jim Carrey with all his characters. I love Jim Carrey. Anyway, besides the point. Or I want to draw 1 wrestler every week. Or I want to draw, you get my point, 100 different types of animals, or 100 different types of people, or characters from movies. I remember I did 100 movie character chibis, which significantly improved my art, my chibi art specifically. And then after that, the year after that, I committed to doing 100 wrestling chibis, which you guys should know if you follow me on Instagram. But these are just for my growing and their fan art and everything. So it's just committing to 100. So if you're going, I drew one, then you know next week I'm going to draw another one, and you can actually list them out if you want to beforehand, whatever the series it is you're planning, and then you know how it looks, how the things you're going to create will look, at least in terms of the topics or the theme of it, and it will give you direction. And when you go to sit down with a piece of paper, or if you're drawing digitally, when you sit down to create, you don't think and scroll and think, oh, what's trending and what should I draw now? You know, because you're going to say, I did this part of the series last time, and now I'm going to be drawing the next piece. A few other examples that we can look at when it comes to drawing series of art. Maybe it's a webcomic, like, or it's I do lots of children's books here in South Africa. But then it's just like drawing a page, drawing the next page, drawing the next page. So there's like a bigger thing that you're actually completing, and not just creating randomly. Now, it can also look like, if you say that you are the guy that draws anime characters, then just plan out your series like the following. For every week, I'm going to be drawing 1 anime character, and then list them out. You can plan it out a bit, decide what you're going to draw, but then you know every week I have to commit to drawing this 1 anime character, because that's what the people are going to be expecting from me. But I don't know if I spoke a bit all over the place. Apologies for that. But I just want you to know that if you sit down and just commit some planning to what it is you want to do and stick to it, you'll see some great results. And people will be able to buy into this series or this work that you're creating. And they will be able to get what you're doing. And let's maybe look at some examples of this online. If you look at, let's say, Ross Draws, he does lots of tutorials and lots of anime style characters, girl characters mostly, and that's what you get when you go there. And if you look at, maybe, why can I think of anyone now? Maybe if you look at, I used the example of Nolanium, the wrestler character artist. He does wrestling art in comic style, and if you go to his profile, that's exactly what you're going to find. And I don't know how he approaches it or they approach it, but I know that you know what they're about just by going on there. In 1 second, you're going to see this is what this guy does, and this is what he's all about. So number 3, remember, do or plan a series of artworks and stick to it. Not only will you improve, but you will get some meaning and direction in your work. Good. I'm out of breath. Number 4, get a creative routine and attach the above mentioned series to it. Okay, like a creative routine. This is something that fits my way of creating art, so I'm not saying it's something that you should do, but it's something that helps me a lot, and I'm just going to tell you about it if it's something that can help you be better. So for example, in 2018 or 19, I'm not sure, I did some books, children's books, and I struggled completing them because I wasn't in the mood, and things happened, and the other days I would create maybe for 3-4 hours, and then after that struggle again to like find the time and schedule it, and then this frustrated me a lot. So what I basically did was, I'm an early bird, so I wake up like early in the morning. I decided that every morning at 5 a.m. I'm getting up and I'm going to work for those 2 hours before 7, before my whole household wakes up and my kids wake up and everything. I'm going to be working towards my children's books. So this means every morning in the weekdays, not weekends, I'm going to be completing something. So then I know that time is dedicated to creating this, dedicated 2 hours every day. That helps me create the things that I want to achieve, and I quickly completed my books without drag or anything like that, because I know that every day that time is locked in. And then it takes some discipline, especially if it's 5 in the morning, because I know some people like to sleep in, and that's fine. Just commit to like a routine. Every Friday I'm drawing fan art, for example, or every Wednesday I'm drawing my anime characters, or every day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon I will be working on my 100 chibi characters or my 100 animal robots, or whatever the case is that you decided. So attach that art series that we spoke about in the previous point, number 3. Attach that to a creative routine and you'll see some results. And it's going to take some time. Like, you can think, if you only draw fan art every Friday, you have to wait like a week to get to creating some fan art again. So what do you do with the time in between? So you got to learn to be patient and understand that if you're willing to put in the work and work with discipline according to these rules. Hey, there's my dogs barking again. They're thinking it's a good point. But if you commit the work to it and stick to your routine that you've set up, you should achieve the things that you want to achieve. So, and then let's just quickly talk about number 5, and then I'll round this up. Number 5 is that you shouldn't let social media overwhelm you. Now, I've spoken about this in the intro. I've spoken about this in just by getting things going, but I really want you to understand that if you're just going to sit there, open up your smartphone or your phone and open up Instagram and Facebook and all of these, ArtStation, and just see what people are doing, you might feel inspired to create what they're creating, or create the same topics. Or maybe you just watched the movie and now you want to walk down to your drawing board and draw the character from that movie. no problem. But don't let it overwhelm the things that you want to achieve. If you're working on a portfolio or you're working on a project, you need these above mentioned points 1 to 4 to really be successful as an artist, even if it's just freelance or if you're working for a company one day, even more so, because then there's no excuses of, I want to do this, or I don't feel the mood to create this now, I want to create that. There's no excuses. You've got to show up regularly and do the work. That's the only way. So I hope this helped you and really changed your way of thinking when it comes to art. And maybe this is just my way of telling you how I do things. But I've done this for 2 years, about 3 years, since 2017. And I've seen that planning out your work and knowing who you are as an artist and what imprint you want to leave on the world, and what meaning you want in your work, or what message you want your work to communicate, that really helps. So define these for yourself and get going, and maybe you just realize that this is what it takes to be an artist. And then there's deadlines and all those other things, but remember, great things take time. You are great. Allow yourself the time to grow and become the best artist that you can be, or that you are meant to be. Don't waste it on cheap, trending social media topics. Know who you are and take it one step at a time to your goals. If you try these steps that I gave you as a way of life and not just a strict set of rules, they can help a lot. And remember, planning will help you win as an artist. Okay, I'm mumbling a lot. Let's get out of here. I've finished the artwork of Charlotte Flair, which is kind of hypocritical because I think she's kind of topical in this moment when I shot the video. Everyone's talking about her push and everything of that. But that's not why I created her. She was actually planned in my schedule a few weeks ago. And so, yeah, enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this artwork. Let's get out of here. Okay, so there you have it. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you enjoyed that drawing of Charlotte Flair. I really liked the outcome. It's a redraw from a few years back, and I like seeing the improvement when I compare my work to my own work that I've done 2 years ago or a year ago or a time back. Anyways, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram @ShinkArt, and you can also look for ShinkArt on Patreon if you want to support me to make more videos like this. See you next week, and remember, create with meaning, go plan out the things that you... And remember, create with meaning and enjoy the process of making art. That's what it's all about. Okay, cheers, see you next time guys.